Checking in and connecting with people is incredibly important during this time of social isolation. And you can improve your level of connection by asking better questions. And I'm going to give you 3 suggestions of better questions to ask today. Because we're not naturally good at asking questions, because really we're most comfortable talking about ourselves. When we connect, oftentimes we ask, "How are you?" And that's a great question to ask. If you're asking, "How are you?" at least you're trying to connect right now, which is good. But that "How are you?" question, oftentimes it goes right just into that abyss of social interaction, because "How are you?" is the question that we ask and we say, "Fine," and then we move on. And in these times where you're really wanting to connect on a deeply human level, asking better questions matters. Here are 3 suggestions. And it's always nice when you ask these questions to ease in with your own bit of self-disclosure. I'll give you an example of what that looks like with the first question. Question 1. So what's keeping you up at night? And you can ease into this question by saying, I realize that there's a lot of things swirling and going on in my world. I was up last night worrying about my dad. He's a doctor, he's in the healthcare system, and there's just a lot of anxiety swirling. And what's keeping you up at night? You see, that level of disclosure can help ease into the interaction. Okay, question 2. What have you been doing to take care of yourself lately? And again, you can ease into that with your own self-disclosure about the realization of how important it is. Question 3. What's been a win for you today? Or what's brought you happiness today? You want to improve that level of connection. When somebody tells you what they're worried about, when someone tells you what they're happy about, write it down, remember it, and then the next time you interact, you can ask even better questions, because you'll be able to ask about things that specifically are on their minds. For example, if I know someone who I'm working with is single, I would ask, "How are you doing with all of the isolation?" Which is a really different question than somebody should ask a person like me, who's a mom with 4 kids. A question for someone like me sounds a lot more like, "How are you managing all the chaos of your household?" instead of asking about the isolation. So 3 questions for you to think about to improve your level of connection, and lead with your vulnerability. When someone gives you an answer, write it down, remember, ask more specific questions. We can go beyond the "How are you doing?" and improve our level of connection during this time of crisis.